This is the story of a man who's suffering a health crisis, and the system that we all pay into to protect us in such a situation is failing him.
Deborah
Counselor, would
Cowton.
you identify yourself for the record, please?
Yes, Judge. Deborah Cowton appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, and she is here in my office.
And going to the defendants, folks, I will explain to you, this is a non-payment of rent case. When you were served with the paperwork by your landlady, you were given a piece of paper entitled Tenants Advice or Rights. That form explained to you that you did have the right to seek financial help to help you by way of contacting the Department of Health and Human Services. It also explained to you that you did have the right to have a lawyer to get a lawyer to help you navigate through this hearing. If you're financially unable to hire a lawyer, you can reach out to Legal Services of Eastern Michigan. That's a free agency that would give you a lawyer, that would provide a lawyer for your free of charge if you meet the eligibility requirements. The other numbers that you can call if you want a lawyer would be to Saginaw County Bar Association, the State Bar Michigan. Those are numbers you call if you want the names of lawyers to hire. Do you understand that, folks?
Yes, sir. We've tried contacting them with no avail, to no return phone calls.
Okay. And I have no control over that. I can just only give you the names to call. It's up to them whether or not they'll get back with you. I have no control of that whatsoever.
Yes, sir.
And did you want me to adjourn this hearing so that you could either continue to contact a lawyer or get financial help? It's totally up to you, folks.
You want to try to get a lawyer?
It's up to you.
We'd like to try to get a lawyer, sir.
All right. And we will adjourn this and we'll reset it. Anything further, counselor?
Judge, if we could reset this sooner than later, they have not paid rent since June. They're up to almost $10,000 as to what they owe in rent.
And we'll get
Your
it
Honor.
scheduled as soon as possible, counselor.
Thank you, Judge.
We will. Yeah.
Your Honor, can we say something
Yes.
real quick? My husband is, he is kidney failure. He's on dialysis. He needs to have a transplant, so he's missed a lot of work. He can only work part-time. Our situation is a little bit different, so I just wanted to see if, anything we can do that can change the matter. I just wanted to say that because I feel as if she worked with us that we could, pay her. And we also got Social Security benefits coming to us, but any day now it's supposed to, it's approved. It's already pre-approved, but it's not.
We haven't been paid yet.
Yeah, we haven't been paid yet, but we have the information right here on paper stating that it's approved.
In Your Honor, although my client sympathizes with that since last January, even before he notified my client that he was ill, they've been continuously late on payments. They've had bounce checks. Although we sympathize with them, if that is their situation, then I think that they need to find somewhere that is more within their means, not a $1,200 a month home. So although my client sympathizes with his health issues, we do need to move on because she's continuing to pay a mortgage. They are always behind in their water payments, things like that. So this has been a huge financial burden on my client.
Your Honor, everything is always been, I understand we've been late, but she's always been paid. I've been starting to get sick since before June, missing work. As of August, I was legally disabled, not being able to work.
And Mr. Carter, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, you're fine, sir.
we're not going to resolve this morning. We're going to get it rescheduled for another hearing. That's going to be an in-person hearing. And hopefully, folks, you can have your money by then, but if not, we're going to have to proceed. So we'll see you folks back here at a later date. You're free to log off, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A George or Tiffany, any of these people physically present, I need you up here to the table to my right, which is your left, file number 22-2847. And this was last scheduled on January 9th of 23. And counsel, would you identify yourself for the record, please?
Deborah Cotton on behalf of the plaintiff, Your Honor, and the plaintiff is appearing via Zoom.
And folks, just have a seat at the table. State your full names for me, please, and spell your last names.
Tiffany Ebony Carter, Tiffany Ebany Carter.
George Patrick Carter. GEORGECARTER.
And the last time this was scheduled was January 9th of 23. You were explained your rights at that time. Counselor, this is your case. You may proceed.
Your Honor, my client is asking for an order for possession today. The rent is $1,200 a month. The last time they paid, there was $800 credited towards June, and then $1,200 a month from July through January. So the rent due is $9,200. The cost for service, filing fee, and attorney fee is
Ms. Calvin, I'm gonna stop you. Are you planning on taking any testimony? Have they agreed to this? What are you doing here? I'm trying to figure out.
I'm not sure
What are
what
you
they're
saying?
doing. Last week, they said they were going to get an attorney, so I don't know if they agree that they need to leave because they can't pay the rent, or I'm not sure what their position is, Judge.
Okay, they're here without an attorney, so evidently they didn't get a lawyer, so you can call your
Okay.
first witness, we can take testimony, and we can proceed.
Okay, I would like to call my client, please.
Okay, and what is her name, please?
Tamara Sulaya.
And ma'am, raise your right hand for me, please. You do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Say, I do.
I do.
And put your hand down for me, ma'am, and state your full name for me, please, and spell your last name for my recorder.
Tamara Sulaya, Tamar, last name Tsualaia.
And you may take the witness.
Do you own a home located at 767 Andrew Street in Frankenmuth?
Yes, ma'am.
And that home is not where you live, you rent out that home, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with George and Tiffany Carter?
Yes, they're my tenants.
Okay, and they rented this home from you when?
We started lease in March of 2020,
Okay, and what is the rental rate on that home?
$1,200 a month.
Okay, and I had stated to the court earlier that they still owe money for June, is that correct?
Yes, the last time they paid me was $400 in August 1st. That was $400 out of $1,200. So, and then prior to that, they also
Okay, hold
owed
on.
me.
That's not what I asked you. How much do they owe you for June?
Well, up until August 1st, they already owed me $2,400.
Ma'am, I'm asking you how much they owe you for the month of June.
$1,200.
Okay, but they paid 400, so they only owe 800 for June, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then July, August, September, October, November, December, and January of 23, nothing has been applied towards that rent, so they owe 1,200 a month for each one of those months, correct?
Correct. They haven't paid anything since August 1st. Yes.
Okay, so the total amount of rent due to retain possession would be $9,200, is that correct?
Correct. As of January 1st, they owe me $9,200.
Okay, nothing further, Judge.
And going to you, ma'am, do you have any questions of this witness?
No.
And sir, do you have any questions of this witness?
No, sir, not at this time.
And you may step down. You may call your next witness.
Nothing further, Judge.
And going to you, ma'am, did you have any witnesses here you want me to hear from?
No,
Just ourselves, sir.
just us.
And raise your right hands for me, please. You do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this cause now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Say, I do.
I do.
And ma'am, you may go first.
Okay. We realized that we owe the money. He's been through some medical issues. He needs a kidney transplant. So we went through a lot with money, and we've always told Tamara that we were gonna pay it, and we are gonna keep our word on that. And we are waiting for his disability to kick in. It's approved, but we're just waiting for it to be released.
I have been upfront with Tamara since day one, since this happened. I offered to pay, I think later in August, another amount of $700 or $1,000 towards what was due, somewhere in between there. She denied that payment. I've been round and round with Social Security. It's been approved for disability. I have the paper for the Medicare approval. We're just waiting for the finances to be released. I've been upfront with our landlord, sir, since day one, stating that as soon as the funds are released, she will be paid in full. Also, we have tax returns coming. You know, we love the home. We've always paid her. We may have been late. I understand that, and I understand she needs her money. We've been late, but we've always paid her up until now, until I was disabled in August. I have 3 small children in the home, so we're fighting every day to keep their kids fed and keep everything else paid as well. I'm unable to work due to my disability for dialysis 3 times a week for 4 hours a day. I can't work. It just drains me.
Anything else you want me to know?
No, sir.
And counsel, did you have any questions of these witnesses?
Yes, I just had a question for either one of them. I don't care which one answers. Didn't you put a GoFundMe on Facebook recently?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you applied any of that money towards your rent?
No, we have not yet. We were waiting to see if we could get a little more to pay more towards her.
Okay,
But like I said before, I
nothing
offered to pay her
nothing
money,
further,
she
Judge.
refused it.
Nothing further, Judge.
I have the text message to prove that she refused the money I tried to pay her.
And
Can I say
folks, did you have
something?
any other witnesses? Did you have any other witnesses here you wanted me to hear from? And counselor, any rebuttal?
Basically what they were asking my client at that time is that, they were asking her, well, can we pay 400, not the 1,200? She was telling them that she couldn't settle for lower amounts on the rent, is why she refused that one particular payment. But we would also ask, we would ask that the court,
$1,000 and she
we-
denied it.
Judge, we would ask that the court enter a judgment for the 9,200 with the costs in the amount of $313.64 and with an eviction within 10 days if they cannot pay.
And folks, do you have a final statement you would like to make to me?
Sir, we have 3 small children. 10 days to find a new home in the middle of winter with no income is just unacceptable and just rude. I mean, I understand she wants her money and we don't deny owing it to her. But for her to give us 10 days to find a home with 3 children,
Your Honor, we sent the
And-
notice
and-
to quit on November 21st.
Yes, I realize that. And folks, unfortunately, you know, and Mr. Carter, I'm really sorry about the health issues that you're facing. I mean, I'm really sorry about that. However, this is a business for this lady.
well, I
You
understand
you
that.
haven't paid, and the law says that she can come in here when someone doesn't pay rent. The law gives her the right to come in here and sue them and
No, I
say, hey,
understand.
look, I want my property back.
I
I
understand.
mean, that's the law.
We've been forthcoming with her since the
Yeah.
beginning this has happened.
But you gotta understand, I mean, this is her business, you're
She's
paying, and it's
She's
like,
been fine and she's been okay, you know, I just need my rent and I probably, told her, and she's been okay until a week or 2 weeks or a month ago, whatever it was.
okay. And what the court's gonna do, folks, I am gonna enter a judgment in favor of your landlady. Based on the testimony, rent has not been paid roughly since July in the amount of $1,200 per month. So the court will enter a judgment for possession as well as a money judgment, counselor, a judgment for possession and a money judgment. And folks, what the court's gonna do, we're gonna give you a little more time to vacate this premises if you're I can give you a little more time, not much time, because most landlords and landladies get upset when I do this because they want their property. And the law requires that you be out in 10 days. So that would put you the 27th, really the 30th of January. Court's going to extend this a little out. We'll give you a little additional time. Counselor, for the writ, we're not going to do the writ with the traditional 10 days. We're going to give them until February 13th to vacate the property or come up with the money. So judgment will enter in favor of the plaintiff. Writ date, February 13th of 23. And folks, there's a book in front of you. That book is our landlord, landlady, tenant booklet. Take a copy of that book. So, folks, hopefully you can come up with this money before February 13th if you want to stay there. Keep in mind that February's rent is also going to be due. So there's another $1,200 that's going to be tacked on. So you're going to be well over $10,400 by February. Plus your court costs. So if you're planning on moving, make sure you're out of that home before February 13th, but a money judgment will enter through today's date. And take that booklet and we'll send you a copy of the judgment in the mail. You folks are free to leave.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Judge.
And you're welcome. Court, take up the matter of people.
All right, for those of you who actually want to learn something today, here's a quick infographic on the approval rates based on the age of the person applying for Social Security disability insurance. As you can see, the younger you are when you become disabled, the less likely you are to be approved with your initial application. These are actually the overall approval rates. The initial application approval is much less, much lower. The way it works is you file an initial application. That application is approved or denied. Then you can file an appeal. That appeal is approved or denied. If it is denied, then you go to a hearing in front of a judge. That judge makes a decision, and if they deny it, then you appeal it to I believe it's a federal level. And that is your last recourse to be approved for disability. And it's a very convoluted process, and I never realized how absolutely broken our system is until I became involved in it. So it's pretty interesting. When I spoke to several disability lawyers recently, I was told that I think they said in their practice, 95% of people under the age of 50 to 55 were denied during their first and second application process, that they all went to a hearing. And their opinion on it was that Social Security wanted to make sure that the people applying really wanted it. So the reason this is important is because, like in the situation we just saw, people are becoming pretty much destitute while they're trying to be approved for these benefits. You are unable to work while you're applying, and you're sitting there for the initial application process takes about 8 months. Then, if you file an appeal, that's an additional 7 to 8 months. And then, if you're waiting for a hearing, that can be up to a year after that. So, this could be 2.5 to 3 years before you're approved. And during that time, you're unable to work, you have no income, there's no money coming in, and you're expected to pay bills. So, like you see in the process that's going on right here, people are losing their homes, they're losing everything, and they have not really any options in that waiting period. And generally, the process was a lot quicker, but the government is experiencing the same kind of shortages that everybody else is, from what I have been told from people who work in that sector, and they just don't have the workers to process the claims. So your claim is basically sitting on someone's desk for that extended period of time until someone has a chance to look at it. And they're also rushing through the claims, which is resulting in a lot of other issues. While looking this up, I found some interesting information. And if you'd like to look at this, it's on the website finder.com/ hardest state 2 get disability. And they're taking this information directly from SSA.gov, which I double checked. And this is basically which states have the best approval rate for disability benefits. And that's going to be Kansas, New Hampshire, Wyoming, Alaska, and Nebraska. And it has not only what their approval rates are, but what your monthly benefits would be on average. Benefits are based on your lifetime earnings, and they take percentages of that and calculate it out. But this is basically where the best places are to get disability. So, if for some reason you're unable to work and deemed disabled, you should go and hang out with Judge Webster and her cool new glasses, because she is a hoot. Um, it's kind of interesting to look at these states and compare them to what we could call political lines, red and blue states, because then if we go over to the states that are the worst states for getting disability approval, um, it it changes a little bit. The worst states to get approval are going to be Oklahoma, Arizona, Mississippi, Texas, and the fabulous state of Florida. So the amount of disability you're going to receive is pretty much the same between those two states, looking at the two numbers. Maybe a little less in some instances, a little more in others, but the approval rates are way less. If you look at the best, which is Kansas, it has a 69.7% approval rate. But then if you look at the worst, which is Oklahoma, it has a 33.4% approval rate, which is unbelievable to me, considering the number of applications that go through this process and the number of people who are disabled and unable to work. There's also the issue of people who are able to work and don't want to work and are using the system to be lazy, and we all know how that goes, and that's a conversation for another day. I'm just looking at the people who legitimately have issues like this gentleman we just looked at, who needs a kidney transplant, will not survive without one, and is just trying to survive and put a roof over his family's head, and he's not able to because he's sitting around waiting for this process to work. So, that is your Today I Learned, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now you learned something new, and everybody have a great day.